I want to say welcome to Matters on this dial, 90.3 FM. I call it the best radio station around. Welcome everyone to entertainment. Welcome to information. Welcome to all that matters on this super dial. Okay, yeah. My friends call me Sweet MC. My name is Jude. Ikami Jude. And of course, check your time now is 1:22 p.m. already, and today is the 26th day in the month of March 2024. Okay, you know how we do it there on every you know how we do it every Tuesday. Okay, let me not go there first. Mona is just right here by my side. Mona, what's up? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Lagos City. How are we doing this afternoon? This is Munachuku Ojukbana. And of course, you know that I am always on the Metro Corner to bring to you what is happening at the grassroots level in Nigeria. Now, to follow the conversation, we are currently streaming live on YouTube. The handle is VOP903 FM on YouTube. And to send us messages on WhatsApp and to call, the number is 0817-175-6338. Again, that's 0817-175-6338. You can also call us on 0700-903-903-903. That's 0700-903-903-903.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have someone here in the studio. Yeah, he's my guest for today. He is a social affairs commentator. He is maybe I should say public / social affairs commentator. He is a doctor of great repute, actually. I wanted to add something more, but then let me hold on there. Dr. Adebayo is just right here in the studio. Dr. Moses
Adebayo, thank you very
Adebayo
much.
Is here in the studio.
For real, you are just that suspense master. I've told you, so many students right now are listening, and I've inculcated in them this radio culture. I grew on radio, as in BBC World Service. I do more of radio. I do more TV, and I'm not a social media person. I'm not social media savvy at all. But let me say hi to Munachi. The Ojugbana name rings a bell. I'm thinking, is it the daughter of Mandi Ojugbana that sang one hit song in the 80s?
Taxi driver.
Is that a mom?
No.
Is he your father's
cousin? We're related.
Okay, or are you by any means related to Charles Ojugbana,
the
sports commentator?
It's like the whole Ojugbana, all of
because
them.
we're one.
Really?
Yes, we're actually all related.
All related?
Yes, from my father's side.
Okay, that's interesting. You are from a very well-known family, and I'm not surprised that you're here and you're just on your way up there.
No, that's why I brought her here. Actually.
No, for real. You've got eyes for talent. And as I said, some of my students will argue that Mr. Civil, because they can't really, he likes to pronounce his name, Jude, Ikami Jude, feeling cool. So to the listening world, good afternoon, good to be here again, really. Yeah.
You were telling me about your... You said you traveled across a couple of countries recently, and you mentioned South Africa. That caught my attention. I want to hear more of that story. I mean,
anyway, I can trace my traveling to South Africa not too long ago to my being here on the 14th of December. I was your guest on that very day when we just had the judgment concerning Nnamdi Kanu, and we broke the topic, from all sides. And 2 days after, 48 hours exactly, a station in South, I think in Pretoria now, Ikwekwezi, they called and they made some inquiries. I asked them, of course, out of curiosity, how did you get to know who the man is?
Yeah. And
they referred to the program 2 days earlier that I was on a particular radio station in Nigeria, Voice of the People, they listened in.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. That was how I got to know them. And I've had reason to speak to though on phone now, they'll call in and we'll discuss issues bordering on the country and Africa as a whole. So it's only, I just must say that this is a platform that people hear a lot. And please disabuse the mind of people when they say, I hope they are listening. People listen now. And I'll give an example. Okay. Once I went to a program under radio station, on my way, when I left the studio, I got a call. I normally I don't pick numbers. I don't have maybe listed.
Yeah.
And I got a call, but I was curious a bit. I picked the number. I was told clearly by someone who the caller that they are calling from the deputy governor's office. You had me right.
Okay.
The deputy governor's office. I'm talking of the incumbent. And he just said a few things, not to argue. But later in retrospect, I was scared that how on earth did they get to know my number? I don't know anybody in that quarters. But what I'm just emphasizing is that if you think your contributions are not heard or people don't know what you're saying, they hear. Now, do they react? That's another thing entirely. But that they don't listen, they listen.
Okay.
They listen a lot. They listen a lot. As a matter of fact, they have people they assign to hear. Sometimes you know for sure that as a radio station, it's not peculiar to you. Just about radio station, sometimes we veer off the path.
Of course.
Is it not that in about 24 hours you hear from NBC? Who told you they don't hear? So when you are calling, be assured that they are listening. How they now react is their prerogative, but they listen. And I can say that if they could call from South Africa, then that means even beyond the frontiers of our country, someone is listening.
Good.
That's just it.
Good. Thank you so very much. I really want to say thank you for letting us know that people are actually listening to us. You know, when you mentioned Ikwekwezi, 90.1 FM is that in South Africa, I was like, whoa, so they even listen to us. They eavesdrop.
Let me put it that way. Because that was the time they used, they eavesdropped. Oh, yes.
It's okay. Let's get to the Metro Corner quickly before we continue.
All right. Following the report of the news that I brought to you yesterday about the Hajj community, well, it seems like NACON, if you remember, they increased the fare for the Hajj at 1.9 million naira extra. And now it has seen that intending pilgrims have demanded a refund of their money rather than adding, paying that large sum for them to continue. Now, on Sunday, the commission asked those who paid the initial amount to add an extra 1.9 million naira, raising their total money to 6.8 million. And intending pilgrims that wish to no longer participate in the 2024 Hajj are by this release advised to proceed and pay that balance. And findings from Pilgrims Board across the north and south of the country have showed that only very few had started topping up, while many of the intending pilgrims have requested for a refund as they cannot afford the 1.9 million balance. And on another scene, we have the burial community, the burial ceremony of the Nigerian army personnel that have been killed or that were killed in action in Okwama community in Delta State has been scheduled for Wednesday, March 27, 2024. That is tomorrow at the National Cemetery, Abuja. The burial is stated to hold at 3 p.m. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, would be the special guest of honor at the event. It has been said. Now, the killings have been condemned by many stakeholders, with President Bola Tinubu vowing that the perpetrators will not go unpunished. It has been reported how soldiers, including 4 officers, were killed in Okwama community in Ugeli South local government area of Delta State. Now, military authorities earlier said that they were killed while on a mission to maintain peace between 2 warring communities, Okwama and Okoloba. Now, previous statements that were released by the military authorities indicated that 16 soldiers were killed, but the army released the names and pictures of 17 slain soldiers. It's a really sad one day in Delta State.
Very sad.
But glad they're all going to get rest tomorrow. And last that I have, members of an Igbo social political group, Igbo Burotu Association, have raised alarm over the indiscriminate demolition of houses carried out by the Federal Housing Authority in Ijeododo community, Ijegu area of Lagos State. They stated that they were shocked over the demolition of their properties last Thursday by the authorities and described it as heart-wrenching. Now, addressing pressmen, the chairman of the association, Eze Chika, said that their people are angry because they bought lands worth over billions of naira. They erected structures, built houses with their hard-earned money, only to wake up one morning and have it demolished. He has explained that over 500 members contributed to purchase the vast acres of land since 2017. Wokedi said, and I quote, "Is it now a crime to buy land from the king of a community? I am pained because Igbos within and outside my jurisdiction of leadership approached me to verify a genuine land as their leader, and I led them through the appropriate source, the Bale, who in turn issued family receipts only to find out later that the land is not genuinely owned by the ruling family but the Federal Housing Authority." And when I asked those carrying out the demolition, they confirmed that a notice had since been passed in 2022 and they must carry on with the assignment. So right now, the Federal Housing Authority is working on the land and they have claimed this. The Igbos in that community have said that they need some sort of intervention to come to them. And that's it on the Metro Corners today.
Thank you so very much, Muna. Now, let me add this to it. Let me travel to Ondo State to drop this one. One of the frontline governorship aspirants of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Ondo State, Paul Akintelure, is dead. Until his death, Akintelure had raised worries about both direct and indirect threats to his life. He had expressed hope that the situation would improve over time. Well, on Thursday, March the 21st, 2023, he said, I quote, "Initially, I hope these incidents would dissipate over time. Yet, regrettably, they have escalated to pose a serious threat to my life." That was what he said. "The threat against me only strengthened my resolve to stand up for what is right and just. I will not allow fear to dictate our path forward." That was what he said. But then, the information reaching us this morning is that he's dead. Oh, well. And I mean, may his soul rest in peace. Amen. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Yeah, seriously. Now, let's get to the big deal. What we have for you today. Let's get talking. I want to start from here, really, but then it as regards Gumi, the popular Gumi that you know and popular, that I know.
You mean popular or notorious?
Is that what you choose to call him?
That man. Okay.
You know, his name is Gumi, right? Not popular, notorious.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, let's get talking then. We hear something very strange, you know. That the federal government, okay, let me put it better this way. The federal government, you know, said it will not hesitate to make anyone answer for comments it believes to be proactive or rather provocative or reckless, as no one is above the law. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, said these while addressing journalists at the State House in Abuja after the Federal Executive Council meeting. Now, days after terrorists kidnapped at least 287 pupils from Kuriga in Chinkum local government area of Kaduna State, Sheikh Gumi had offered to dialogue with abductors. Gumi advised that to facilitate the release of the abducted school children, the president should allow him negotiate. All right. He warned against Tinubu repeating the mistake made by his immediate predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, who refused to negotiate with bandits. Now, here is where I'm going to. The federal government has said, or threatened, according to some, persons, threatened to arrest Gumi, that his statements over time or recently is reckless. I mean, is reckless. Now, threatened to arrest him. That's the problem some persons are having. Why would they threaten to arrest a man who should be behind bars? According to some quarters, though, not me. That he is supposed to be behind bars somewhere, forgotten. I mean, But the fact that he is negotiating, or he is advised the federal government to allow him negotiate with bandit, means he knows so much about these guys. But then, what do you think, Dr. Moses? Let's start from here.
Look, I think it's only natural that we consider Gumi now from a historic perspective.
Okay.
Gumi is like the proverbial Red Bull in a China shop, or a bull in a China shop now, that if you have to lure it out without that bull wreaking havoc, because you know how very is it malleable now, how very ductile these plates can be. If you try to hurry the bull out of the China shop, it will destroy everything and you'll be the loser. But you rather dangle a red flag from the other end, which naturally attracts the bull. They have this knack for anything red. That's why bullfighters, especially in the Spanish world, they always have reasons to do with the red color to attract the bull, possibly to kill the bull or just engage the bull.
Okay.
So is that proverbial red bull, or that bull rather, that is on the end of the store now, and you are at the other end. You dangle the red flag to lure it, because in the case when you now dangle the red flag or whatever red material, the bull will just walk straight without scattering or destroying the dishes you have in store. Sure. It will just come off its own just because of the attraction to the red color. Gumi wants attention, and unfortunately Buhari was not going to pander to his whims. In the 80s, he was actually in the Nigerian army. Then he had a very, very popular father, a well-respected Islamic scholar, Sheikh Abdul Hamad Gumi now, but he bears the name of his father in a way. But that man was highly respected. I mean, his own father. But he felt, because my dad had the leverage, he had a larger-than-life posture, then I feel I can do whatever I should. Hence, he overstepped his bounds, even as a military officer in the 80s. And Buhari then, who was the head of state in the 80s, at that time, expelled him. Not even suspended him, expelled him. So since that time, he went to oblivion, only for him to come back decades after. And good enough, history has a way of repeating itself. If Buhari was on seat, Buhari will have none of his antics or his suggestions. Or can I be the go-between the terrorists? Can I go in between? Between the terrorists and the people that have been abducted. Buhari will have none of that. So Buhari ignored him totally, and he has said again and again that he wants Tinubu to give him a listening ear, giving an audience. He doesn't want Buhari to go. Tinubu to go the way of Buhari. But right now, of course, Tinubu is different from Buhari. If you consider the fact that he seems to maybe apply the carrot and stick. I'm talking of Tinubu now. You go with the ASU conundrum over the years. He has started to pay the 4 months, although maybe it's audio that Buhari would never have done. So Tinubu is taking a detour from Buhari's stance. He may eventually speak with Gumi, but not on his terms. It will be on the federal government terms. Gumi knows a lot about what is going on in Nigeria, but the government, in their wisdom, under Buhari, chose not to speak with him or dialogue with him, not to have anything to do with him. You can't know the fact that Buhari was, even when he was president, the immediate past president, quite vindictive. That was why he never for one day released Dasuki. Dasuki was one of those that came to arrest him then, to tell him that his days in power were over when IBB toppled him. So when he had a chance to nail Dasuki, now I'm going through the historical lane so that I can put it in perspective. Okay. So this is a man that whatever you think you did to him years or decades past, when he returned the power in 2015, somehow he got back to some of them. Yes, they gave him reasons to, because Dasuki, it was said, misappropriated $3 billion meant for our soldiers to tackle Boko Haram. He just misspent the money. So Buhari had him, incarcerated and never released him. Same applied to El Zakzaky. He had a brush with Buhari too when Buhari was, head of state. Buhari is of the Sunni stock. Majorly Islam is in 2 categories: the Sunnis and the Shiites. Okay. So El Zakzaky is possibly the preeminent Shiite Muslim in Nigeria. So Buhari apprehended him as well. But for Gumi, who he dismissed then, summary dismissal from the army when he was head of state. Gumi was one of the, I think it was about a major then. He suspended him, dismissed him. When Gumi came around telling Buhari that he knows some things about the terrorists, the bandits, Buhari chose not to listen to him. But will Tinubu follow Buhari's step? I don't think so. They may speak with him, but on their terms. And it's about time, really, that Gumi should be called to question. And the reason is simple. His very ally, Tuko, has been named as one of the terrorist sponsors. And for that alone, allegedly, fine. That's just a matter of euphemism. The fact that he's been alleged, he's been indicted, then somehow Gumi has a case. Oh, you can't discard. Oh, you want to be careful, throw away the bathwater, but do not throw out the baby. In this case, the bathwater has been thrown away. You now want to watch what happens to the baby. Now that Tuko has been in the net for almost 2 years now, answering questions, with DSS. Gumi must be called to answer questions, and questions that possibly will reveal his true nature. It's not by any means claim. He's a man that is so flippant, so reckless with statement. I remember when Wike was appointed as Minister of FCT just in August last year. He said something like, "How can a Christian, a Southerner, be the FCT minister? I beg your pardon. Are you kidding me?" He's a Nigerian, for God's sake. So such a man should not be handled with, yes, the attention he wants, let them not give him. But he should be called to court, and they should not make a media sensation even when he's apprehended, because he should be questioned right now. What he really wants is that when they call on him, there should not be this press attention that he will make all the headlines.
There's something you said. Yep. You first said that Gumi is someone who wants attention.
Oh yes.
All right. Now, some persons might disagree with you. They might tell you, no, it's not about attention, but he's been used. He's like a tool in the hands of some bigwigs, so to speak. They're using him.
Do you know Gumi at all? Do you know how massive his father was? His father was like a god. He was a very highly respected Islamic scholar, and in a way, he enjoys the leverage his father created. Gen. So Gumi cannot possibly, I think he's 61 or 62. Gumi cannot possibly be a puppet in anybody's hand. Gumi just wants, he's a man that has a mind. So Gumi possibly cannot be a puppet in the hand of anybody. I know what I'm talking about. I've read about Gumi. I have not seen him in person, but I know 1-2 persons that easily know him very, very well. I have many friends in the military, so they know what he stands for. Gumi wants a case where he will be called upon, but then will always make the headlines. But no serious government will afford him that luxury. No. If they have to speak with Gumi, it should be done in a very covert manner, and they will get what they want to get from him. But that attention is seeking, no. I remember I watched a match, the final of the, I think, 2014 World Cup between Germany and Argentina. A particular young man ran from the stands, ran into the field, and knowing that it has fed so many, the lady that started sometime in England in the 80s, she became an instant celebrity because she ran from the stands, ran to the field. She actually started that, kind of way of doing things. And they apprehended her. All the cameras flashed on her. The following day, she became an overnight celebrity. So, but I haven't realized that people want to now cash in on this. You know what they did that much? The camera never went, as they never zoomed on that at all. So it was just an obscurity. Nobody knew. In fact, the commentator said, if this young man thinks that he's being seen all over the world right now, he's only wasting his time because nobody can see him. So also, for Gumi, he wants that attention such that the world will keep talking about him. But they can go about it another way. They can apprehend him. I think it's about time he answered some questions. But then they must not make it a press sensation.
But hold on, sometimes when Gumi speaks, it's like he can let loose hell if the federal government doesn't listen to what he's saying.
That's how massive he is in the north. Only that he's using his might for the very wrong thing. He's using his might to make. Let me relate to what I said earlier. My being on your show on December 14 got calls from other stations out of Nigeria. Sometimes when they speak, only that I'll question them, hey, I don't live in an insane society, because an average Nigerian out there is seen as someone in pariah, someone that should be avoided, someone that lives in a very in a playground for terrorists. Imagine the other day, some terrorists asked for 40 trillion naira, and I told Chairman when she called, that's what it is, and I analyzed, an average bullion van can contain maybe roughly 1 billion or 1.2 billion naira when it is at the full capacity now. And if you have to give 40 trillion naira to them as they demanded, you may need about 4,000 or even 40,000 of such bullion vans to give them 40 trillion naira.
So you can imagine where you're going to get that.
That is it. And this is a man that obnobs with such people. So such a man must have some things he's hiding. But he should be called to question. He should be grilled. They will get information from him and consequently deal with him. If it's a matter of the law, if it's judicial or administrative, they know how to go about it. But that the attention he wants, okay, Gumi says this today, say that tomorrow, he should be starved of that. Because one thing about terrorists and their collaborators is that they thrive more. Their oxygen is publicity.
Okay.
And that's why in the 80s, when N50m now in Ireland, when they had this madness, they wanted to destroy the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland. There was this terrorist, a party that was involved in terrorism. Then what BBC would never do was that they will not by any means. They only hear their voice, and if they have to play their voice, but you never see them on camera, never. So terrorists, it's one of their oxygens. They want to be in the news. They want to spread fear, paralyze people psychologically, and then get attention. But any media house outfit that gives them undue attention will only be aiding them, not as in destroying their enterprise. Will only be aiding them, because when they know that they have occupied, they've taken over the media space, they get even more emboldened, they become more brazen. So Gumi is not going at all, not by any means. So let the government, in their wisdom, make everything they want to do with him covert. After all, we know they got Nnamdi Kanu. They went in a very surreptitious manner to get Nnamdi Kanu, who I will tell you something about soon. I said something on December 14. I will say something if there is any reason to say that. He may be free in no time. But that's aside. So let Gumi know that.
Sorry, say that again. Calm down and say that what you just said now.
Now you won't quote me on this, but I will say it because.
Why would I quote you?
Now let everyone listen. Oh yes.
Okay.
Let everyone that's listening right now know that. It was almost 2 weeks now. For once, after the court case, Nnamdi Kanu spoke he spoke his heart. He told the world about not even through Israel now. I had his voice.
Okay.
And so many had his voice. And there are some conditions. Yes, I will say that. I know what I'm saying. I'm not being flippant here. I am saying this because the sources I hear from, I won't come on air where I know the world is listening to just be reckless to state the no.
Okay. But you're talking to me, Jude, right?
You know how many people listen right now? I don't know whether I'll get a call from the US afterwards. I got a call from South Africa after December 14, on the 16th of December. So who knows where the next call is coming from? Just not to arrest me, I do.
No, that was that show, right? This one is another one.
And now,
we were talking.
So I'm saying
right?
that you have a very large audience by extension to all your presenters here. People listen, and you know your posture. You are always going to put the government, whether at the state level or federal level, on their toes, which is good. So there are some conditions that MNK Mazi is not pleased with. Things like he may not, if he's released, which they are proposing, he may not live in the southeast at all. He may be forced to live in Abuja for some 2-3 years. He may not travel. They've given some conditions. I'm only saying this just as part of what I've heard, but don't quote me anywhere. You may listen, but don't quote me anywhere. If his minders, if the elders will take this, if the conditions will go with them, in no time, there is nothing. Is really, I think the government is done with him. Honestly. So it's.
Are you sure? With what we are seeing right now, especially how everything played out in the last
the other time, I remember section. I told you all that during the last Yorubas would say, you even quoted, albeit in a very warped manner, your Yoruba adage, kokoro tinjefo is there for lower. The fact that Nnamdi is still incarcerated is down to many of his brothers. This man comes out again. You know how massive he is in the news now. He comes out, he dominates virtually everything from the southeast. So some people are just not convenient with that. They are not. Some of the big wigs in southeast, the timber and caliber, apologies to the legendary Ozumba Mbadiwe, the man that will use the heavy words. Some of them are not convenient with the fact that if Nnamdi comes out again, whatever we do will always make footnotes. Whatever he does will always make headlines. That's the reason.
So is that it? It's
a reason, yes, a very major reason he's not out yet. Some of his kinsmen are the ones just saying that when it comes out, you can tell that this man possibly, just like I look at you and you are looking really fresh. You know that I think the days of, in quote now, maltreating him has passed away a long time. He's now living quite well. I know what I'm saying. But let me just be covert. I won't mention names.
Okay.
But when it comes out, you understand that truly this man is not as bad as conditional now, but will he accept the conditions? That is another case. Will some of his brothers who will be friends in the morning but something else at night, will they allow him because they get threatened by his popularity? If he's released indeed, whatever has been wrong with the Southeast in less than a month will be corrected. I can say that authoritatively. But will they? And you know, Nnamdi Kanu himself is vociferous, is outspoken. Things get right in the Southeast. I can appreciate the things that's going on in Abia State now. Mazi will come out and say, well, it's because you know who I am. He will always take the credit. And that's why some of the governors, some of the senators are wary of. If this man comes out, he becomes the center of attention again, which they are not confident with.
Before we get back on track, I love the fact that we've heard into MNK's issue. Now, before we get back on track, I've heard some persons say those actually keeping him are some big shots from the northern part of Nigeria. I mean, do you believe that?
No. Nnamdi Kanu hasn't got much issue with a section. Yes, he had an issue with the Buhari government, all manner of things that transpired. But essentially, those, and I will have to link the Samuel Ekpa story. Bring that one here too. Recently, he was named among some, I think I've had it in the news that Samuel Ekpa may just be among those terrorists they are looking for. Oh, yes, things like that. Will MNK accede to their conditions? Will he accept some of the conditions which may not favor him? But more importantly, will some of his kinsmen who have been the reason he has not been released over time, will they be convenient with his coming out of incarceration? That's a question that will be answered in a matter of days. It could have as well have been released as early as, then they were thinking, would it be a kind of Christmas gift for his fans for the Southeast? But then some vehemently approach Tinubu, because we know in Nigeria you're a president, but they act like emperors, that they are just not convenient. They are not. They will come to the public and tell the world that they want him released, but in their inner chambers, some of them will not want a man that will come out again and take all attention away from them. And you know that MNK is not sorry to grab the headlines. He's not. Whether he's been in DSS Gulag for some time now, maybe that would have changed his mindset. I don't know. But if I go by what he was or what has always been, then I can tell that when he's released again, he will still take or grab the attention, and which is not by any means pleasing to some. They can anticipate this. But anyway, that's by the way. For Gumi, again, Gumi has a question to, and lots of questions. It's a matter of contiguity. How do I mean there? When you want Gary, then you must have cassava first. Gary won't fall from heaven. Okay. That's why they call it derived demand in Economy 101. So also, once you apprehend someone like Tuko, then Gumi must be involved because they are allies.
Your friends.
Yeah. Well, say that. Anyway, as I've said, it's always an educative platform for many students. Anytime I have the privilege of being radio, I tell them especially when it's a political discourse. They learn a lot. They put down notes. Some of them, I'll ask them what they learned. Okay. But that's by the way. Yeah. So for what's his name now? For Tuko to have been in the net of the government for over 2 years now, or almost 2 years now, then Gumi must have some questions to answer. But let them not make it a media sensational thing. No. Let him be called upon. Let it be a covert thing. We only get to hear what transpired. Like in the court. Of course, you don't go to court with your camera or whatever. It's as grave. You hear what the lawyer said, what the judges, their verdict, but you never see them. So let it be a case of when he's called to ask questions, because it's inevitable, it must not be made a media circus. No.
To an extent now, it seems that whenever the bandits wants to speak, Boko Haram wants to speak, it's like through Gumi. And he might not come directly and say this is what these guys are talking about. Now where we are now is we're now seeing that, hey, these guys might like I asked earlier, they might let loose hell if the federal government does anything against Gumi. Don't you see it that way? It is
a probability or even a possibility. Only that the government is not touted or labeled to be that agent, that state agent that has coercive power. There is no place on earth, except we want to remain in this ludicrous state. There is no place on earth where non-state actors should dominate any serious government. No. So if the government goes ahead to call Gumi for questioning, yes, they will let it be known to whoever. He has lots of followers, the bandits, the terrorists. Whatever transpire, maybe on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, they get to know. He's not there because they want to punish him. Of course, it takes a lot to prosecute him. But if he's called for questioning and they resort to violence, then it's only natural that the government should face them headlong.
If you think Gumi is big, like the name Gumi is a big name.
A big name.
Like you also mentioned his father.
His father was a massive man. Yes.
But he's not bigger than the entire North.
No, not at all. But
so what's going on? I mean, why can't someone just find a way to contain this guy somewhere? I mean, in the North.
Conventional wisdom, as they say, discretion is the better part of valor. Oh, I am strong. Oh, I can achieve many things. But then it's not all the time you expend your strength. Sometimes you let go of some fights. Sometimes you let go. You pretend as if some things didn't happen. As my brothers will say, Moja Mosa, a wise, strong, powerful man will not take all battles headlong. There are some battles you pretend as if you are weak. That the lion is crawling or walking surreptitious in the forest does not mean it is timid. It may as well just be luring his prey. You know, sometimes of course, you must have seen some documentaries when that big cat, a lion, a tiger wants to pounce on a prey. They walk surreptitiously, as in quietly. They take time. Does that mean they are afraid or timid? No, it's not equal to timidity. So that the government hasn't apprehended Gumi over time. Ala Buhari's government, or even the incumbent Tinubu, it's not that they are weak, but there are some people you treat with very, very much care. He's that kind of person. As I've said, is a name that commands a lot, not necessarily because of him now, but his father's legacy. His father's legacy is like today you want to arrest someone that think with the Sadana of Sokoto, the revered legendary Sir Ahmadu Bello. You have to think 3 times over. What do you think happened to? Why do you think Dasuki was deposed sometime under Abacha? Dasuki was not supposed to be Sultan, but somehow because he had IBB as one of his boys ahead of Machido, because Machido was due to be the Sultan, and Machido could trace his line back to Ahmadu Bello, but somehow Babangida just took the rug off his feet. They installed Dasuki, but immediately Abacha became head of state, they removed Dasuki straight in less than 2-3 months and put Macedo there. Because Macedo had a line with the then Sadana of Sokoto, who was legendary. So there are some names that will forever open doors. Their legacies are enduring.
In
so
the North.
Yes, not necessarily North alone, everywhere. I mean, tomorrow now, there are some names that even in the Southeast, if you're an Azikiwe, people ask you again. We can relate to what happened here. I had Munachi Ojubana. Straight away, I remember Charles Ojubana in the 80s, one of the finest sport analysts and presenters we ever had. And I remember Mandy Ojuana, who gave us the eternal song of if you marry taxi driver. So on and on. There are some names that are just enduring by virtue of their work, their legacies. So Gumi's fathers, the name is a massive one. He is only tapping into that because if you consider Gumi's person as a young man, I was told he was reckless. That was why he was dismissed from the army. He was in the army really, but he felt because I'm my papa now, so I can do anything. Buhari will have none of that. He dismissed him. So he has not even really changed his ways, even almost 40 years after, because then he was barely in his 20s. 61 years, 63 years now, he's still as though he believes that, but he knows that he has a name. But then, is it tarnishing the name? Maybe. Do you think he's bigger than the state? No. But for someone like him, you've got to tread with care. As I said before, and I maintain, discretion remains the better part of valor. If government will expend their energy, their might, it's not fun that some people say, after God and government, what the government can't do, what any serious government can't do, in that land, it doesn't exist. But they've got to tread with care if at all they will apprehend him. And by so doing, they also must, even in prosecuting him, they must do that with care. Because it's that person that is of interest. And that person that can as well, if they don't tread with care, may cause something that they may not be able to handle easily. So in apprehending him, it's not bigger than the state. They can always call him to order. But even at that, they must do that with much of wisdom.
Now, for the students, for some other persons who might want to learn, just want to veer a little bit away from what we're discussing and talk about just briefly, Taxi Driver, the song you mentioned.
Yeah.
It was first done in 1951, 52, thereabout, by what's his name?
Bobby Benson.
Is it Bobby Benson or
really
Fatai
sure.
Rolling Dollar? Thereabout.
I'm not really sure.
I think I want to be very, very sure.
Please, you can.
Yeah, I
But Mandy, if it was Mandy raised it to the level of the arts, because she sang that song, whether she covered it or whatever, and it became a huge hit.
Okay.
Then it was one of the weapons in the hands of ladies that they called the bluff of some guys. If you marry this, I don't care. It was a weapon in the hand of many ladies then in the 80s that you go with that, what happened?
Oh god.
The world should see how Munach is feeling so cool right now. I'll tell the world. I will tell.
Okay. It's all good. Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Don't worry. We'll give you more of this information. Okay. Yeah, we'll give you more of this information on this super dial. That's why we're here. I say it every time because you're there. Don't worry. Now let's get back on track.
Yep.
Just yesterday, I got an information. How there's a particular bandit. This guy operates social media so much. In fact, he uses TikTok. And he's got about 3,000 followers on TikTok. And I saw a video he made. He was displaying the ransom he got, from whatever. I don't know. And the fact that he could display that calls for whatever. It's much. It's huge. Now, let me read it. This account from this particular paper. It said a terrorist has been reportedly seen in a viral video displaying some money collected from his victims as ransoms and uploaded on TikTok. The video was shared, by a counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in Lake Chad in a series of posts on the X handle yesterday. Now, according to Makama, who shared it, the user of the account has over 3,000 followers, noting that some of them are bandits who openly show off their rifles and are dressed in military or police uniforms. He further lamented that TikTok platforms has given space for insurgents to promote their campaign of terror without any form of restrictions. He wrote, in quote, he said, "Audacity, bandit on TikTok flaunting and showing off ransom money he collected from his victims. The user of the account has 3,000 followers. Some of them are bandits who openly show off their rifles and are dressed in military or police uniforms." I want us to find a way to address this because it's going off the hook. Seriously. Is it that we don't have our security agencies are not working, or there are no ways to track these people? TikTok is not. I don't understand. Maybe you would help me understand if the government doesn't really know what to do, or our security agencies are overwhelmed, or maybe people are just leave these guys, or maybe like some quarters will say they are scared when it has to do with terrorists or bandits, or these guys that has to do with, or these guys coming from north. The Nigerians they're like, let's leave these guys alone. They are a special breed. People don't want to always talk about them or go and maybe want to arrest them or something. So help us understand what is really playing out.
Two things right now. Firstly, the social media platform he employed to display this ill-gotten, obnoxious wealth, if I describe it as wealth, should also help the country. Because I know that I'm not that social media savvy. I would rather call you or do my email. That's all. For the point, I had reason to write letters not too long ago. So I'm just someone of the Neanderthal age, maybe of the Ice Age. And I'm not sure about it.
You're still very crude.
Very good, thank you. But that's a very good. Students, you are listening. So some social media platform I know won't condone this. As they say, they flag you when you want to use their platform.
Oh yeah, sure.
Form. So I think TikTok should take note of this. Then, since he has the second aspect is that since he has shown himself to be strong enough, brazen enough to come out with this, then I think the security architecture of Nigeria should swing into action. They should. And when they apprehend such people, they shouldn't make that a covert thing. With respect to such a person, they should make it known to the world, because in its own case, justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. If he had the guts to have employed that platform to show the world that he even has 3,000 followers, that's ludicrous. Who follows such a man? What is he teaching them?
3,000.
Yeah,
and he's been showing his face. I just saw the
for real
videos now, showing his face, and
so
can he be arrested?
You know what I see is this. I've read so many books, and part of what you do as when you obtain a doctorate is that you do research extensively on the field you are working and in virtually all things that related to it. I once read a book that had to do with game of brinksmanship. Now, brinksmanship is simply a case of two people are involved in, let's say, a game of chess. Who outthings the other one? Who is more proactive? Who is more reactive? Sometimes when they do things like this, they're actually daring the government. It's like thumping on your chest. I walk into the studio now. You are in charge here, but I want to know whether truly you are in charge. And I come around and thump your chest. Let me see how you react. So sometimes they do this. But government, in their wisdom, also sometimes will let them dance nakedly first, dance publicly, show their madness, and they will now get their result. When you go out there, as I've said, yes, I caution them when they want to be overtly insulting or rude. But some of these stations outside of the country, when they start labeling your country a pariah state, a terrorist playground, and all manner, don't they have right to say this? When they say things like this, you give them reason to run to the mill, go to town with it and say, we said it. They are not serious. But if this government really will fight terrorism, will not pander to their whims, will truly act as government, after all, they've got coercive powers, then such a person should also be taken care of. Now we use euphemism a lot. If he has to be neutralized, kinetically or non-kinetically, let them go ahead. For him to be this brazen, when he must be ready, it's always the private case of, the man that will carry an ant-infested wood should be ready to accommodate many Mr. and Mrs. Lizards. So if he is this bold to show his face on air, and not only for him, the 3,000 people he has following him, if they can apprehend as many. Look, I will always say this, after God through in our government, once only that our own government sometimes they become too petty, too petulant. It's only when it affects them directly that you see them seeing action. There was this day a particular young man insulted Aisha Buhari, the immediate past first lady. In less than 24 hours, they got the guy up, they got him. Someone named, I think, was it a dog or his dog after the president then?
Yeah.
In no time, they got the guy. So they know what to do. They are not in government just as a matter of appellation. So for such a person, I believe the DSS and all apparatus of security in Nigeria should have swung into action, and even those that proudly associate with such, those that are affiliated with him, should be called to answer questions too. Not only 3,000, but they can always get to the head. It's a case of Pareto principle. When you take care of the most important things, the other ones fall into place. So when you take care of that particular terrorist who had the guts to show himself, and some of the guys that are really his very close allies, then I think we'll be achieving something. But if we let this one just pass, then we'll still make ourselves that country nobody takes seriously. Is there any wonder, any reason that some investors are still very uncertain? They are iffy when it comes to Nigeria. They just think this country is not too serious. Will I go there and invest my money? So if we take on these people and show them that the state is bigger than non-state actors, then I think people will take us seriously. Oh yes, they will. And we won't have to go going junketing the entire world just because we want to. As far back as 1960, the Canadian author who coined the word global village, the world had shrunk or was shrinking into a global village 4 or 5 decades ago. Right now, it's a global village indeed. What happens in Washington will always be heard somewhere in Wuse Market. Whatever transpires in Pretoria can be seen somewhere in Ajegunle. So nobody's hidden anymore. So, but if we only take seriously state affairs, security, justice, peace, all of these things, then investors will naturally make our Nigeria their abode. We don't have to start begging them. But if we still pander to their whims, still pet them on their heads or slap them on their wrist, then we're only playing, as my kids will say, they play.
Okay, now, but before I get to open up the studio lines, I want to bring in this issue. Just want to seek your opinion. Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho, and of course the Chief of Staff to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, of Lagos, Mr. Tayo Ayinde, have both threatened to drag the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land Iba Gani Adams to court for allegedly accusing them of plotting an assassination. All right. Igboho and Ayinde, in separate pre-action letters by their lawyers, demanded that Adams should retract, the said assassination claim against them, or both of them, would drag him to court. Now, but when Adams was contacted, he declined comments on the matter. In quote, he said, "No comment at all." Now, let me go back now. In March 2024. Pre-action letter, Ayinde's lawyer, Adeyinka, demanded that Adams should retract the allegation without any need on, according to him, my client's part to press you further on the subject. Now, there's been these issues. Okay, let me go further to say this now. Olumide, said that the pre-action letter was informed by the content of a press release issued by Igboho titled, "I did not take part in killing Chief Bola Ige." You see where the issue is now. You of course you understand.
I get what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say. I just really don't want to delve deep into it. I just want to touch it on surface. Well, according to some, let me leave it there. But then,
in what they say is sufficient for the word. In what you've not said, what your body language alone has projected, I understand. This should not be taken with kid gloves. Just in the news today, an aspirant on the APC platform is dead. Or just died, and he had warned before now that his life was under threat. We don't know what led to his death, so let us not preempt. But if they launch a thorough investigation, they possibly understand. But it's a fact that days before now, 2 weeks ago, he made it clear that his life wasn't safe. Today, 2 weeks after, he is no more. Whatever happened in between those 2 weeks, we don't know. But let the security and everyone involved in this case, let them just have to take it up legally. With what the allegations you've just read from Sunday Igboho and the commissioner now should not be taken lightly. Neither should it be taken lightly on the part of Iba Gani Adams, the Are Ona Kakanfo, because some things may sound harmless, but if they are not nipped in the bud, they may as well become a green-eyed monster that we can't control.
A lot of names are fingered into this same issue. I just don't want to dig deep. I want to leave it there because the issue is.
That's why
I really want to leave it there.
I know people call you suspense
a lot
master.
Of names.
Suspense master. You just take people up there and leave them there.
I'm sorry.
Change your ways.
Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just to touch on it, the former Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, your friend, right?
Your friend, your brother,
has again expressed regret for helping Fubara to become the governor of the rich oil state, that is Rivers State. In his word, he said he showed his true color after we won election for him.
Wike, grow up now. That you help someone get to a place does not mean you should now just stay around his neck forever. Grow up. This pettiness is becoming nauseating. Look, it won't be there forever. 4 years is not forever. Before we just blink our eyes down, the next elections will be here. So let him let Fubara be. The man has been subdued enough. I even learned from grapevine, and as I've said, whenever I have to address the world like this, I'm always going to be very, very sure of what I have to say. The man does not even command much respect among his commissioners, because the commissioners he had to reappoint, many of them owe their allegiance to Wike. So how else will a man
So you're talking about the current commissioners?
Yes, about 8-9 of them. They still have their allegiance to Wike. Many of them, these are guys that they tell him to his face all the time. So this is a man that is been subdued enough. So let Wike just act a tad maturely. You don't have to say all this. That you helped him to power. Is that the end of life? Now you go before someone will install governor. What should Tinubu do? That virtually we know he has his fingerprint in all pies in Lagos. And I was told by those that really follow him that once he helps you become governor, once he supports you and you become governor, he steps aside until you may need them again, maybe for election. But while you're in that office, you are in control of whatever you have to do. So let Wike learn this too, that you help Fubara. Was he not a commissioner in your government? He was one of those that worked with you. So let that man be. That young man has suffered enough insult. There was a local government chairman in Rivers State that was so rude, and that's understating it. He said many unprintable words against the governor. For goodness sake, that office has been desecrated. So we can't afford to go about ranting. Let him just grow. Let him grow. Fubara, after 4 years, and if he serves his people very well, go and ask Theodoji now, the then cousin of what's his name now, Oji Uzokadu.
Yeah.
At a point, he gave a bit of whatever now. He unseated Oji Uzokadu from power, as in he became the henchman in Abia politics. And I must comment what is going on in Abia right now, because it's one state. Yes, let me tell all my Ghanaian colleagues and brothers, some of them that are equally PhD holders that we interact every day. Not every Nigeria is in blackout, because they are quick to tell you that when you watch Nigeria Ghana match, we are going to tell you the result. No, not lie. In Nigeria, there are some places that they have light. So Abia State, I learned right now that they are doing well when it comes to electricity, and that shows that when you have a visionary leader. And I've told some Abia friends of mine, people from Abia State, that you can see what you cost. This is a man you should have elected some 7-8 years ago, because the last time, what's his name now, Governor Oti, he actually ran for governor then, but because it was on a platform they didn't really like, they knew how competent he was, but it was a case of they cut their noses to spite their faces. They didn't vote him. They knew his capacity, they knew what he could do, but they voted a calamity called Ikpazu.
Why you choose to call him?
I choose to because he so degraded governance to the point that he gloated when he was paying 500 naira to mothers just coming from delivery room. That for every woman that gave birth, he gave them 500 naira. Does that not speak to you that somebody is not thinking? Is that not a calamitous person? He was boasting that he brought a franchise, a food franchise. Those are the things he calls achievement. Thank goodness when he vied for the office of a senator, during the last election, he was not voted in. So such a man, we shouldn't even have occupied that exalted office of governor. He was just not it. But Oti is undoing the very many bad governors. Of all the 5 southeastern states, Abia has been the most, in quote, unlucky. Anambra, what's his name? Soludo is doing some things.
Before now. Unlucky before now.
Before now, yeah. I'm talking Abia before now. Oh. Because Oti is actually, he has a presence there and he's doing things. In 4 years, Abia will come out of the morass, the doldrums they've been put by bad governance from Oji Uzokadu, who ensure that the entire state was subjected to just mere football. All he was concerned with them was Enyimba. Who does that? Football is just recreational. You hold pensioners, you hold civil servants for months on ending.
So are you trying to say that Oji Uzokadu didn't do anything while he was a governor?
Now, I'm not of that school of thought. Okay. Even Hitler, the man referred to as the greatest war criminal in history, floated Volkswagen. And Volkswagen is one of the, in fact, when they had their Beetle in the 60s and 70s, it has the record of being the second highest grossing car in history after the Model T by Henry Ford in America. That you know that in Japan,
of course.
That one they call it Japan. But it was Hitler that actually brought up the people's car. That's what they call it, somewhere in Wolfsburg in Germany. So I'm not of the school of thought that a man will occupy an office and all he did will just be 100% evil or bad. No, there will always be one modicum of good he did. Even as terrible as Abacha was, till date he still sends money to us from wherever he is. Abacha still gives us money. Not so. Before tomorrow I hear that Abacha loot.
They recovered loot.
Now. So Abia State right now is a metaphor of the fact that we can do things right. Yes, they can't rest on their oars. They've got to improve. Because if area market gets it right because of power, then Nigeria economy is on the way up. Yes. What Japan, then in the 60s, 70s, 80s, anything from China or Japan is just laughed at. This one is but today, and what area market in Abia State is doing is just like a prototype of what they were doing then. They would do it wrong, but they kept doing it. Today, you won't be proud of that product from Japan, from China. So if we will empower that economic hub, then with power now, I'm talking of, I am no pun intended, if we make sure that there is electricity, and not only that place, but the entire country, I imagine sometime, even the media organization here, how you guys sustain yourselves, because power outage has been an unfortunate thing in the past 3 months. So let Abia work along with Governor Alex Oti, and they are on their way to the
Before I get to open up the studio lines, how would you compare Governor, former Governor Oji Uzor Kalu, rather, and the immediate past governor?
You mean Okeze Ikpeazu?
Yes.
Well, sometimes it's a case of a greater evil and a lesser evil. If I still compare Oji Uzor Kalu, I think it's a saint beside Ikpeazu, and I'll tell you why. Take it or leave it. He's still relevant in Nigerian politics. I'm talking of Oji Uzor Kalu. He's still very relevant. One word, I mean, he's still a senator, and he's still very relevant. Yes, sometimes his talks go lower, but he's always been talked about. You can't compare that with someone that was gloating that he was giving 500 naira. He can be doing what will 500 naira do for you now? Nothing. If you give your fine young handsome boy 500 naira now, he will just come and he just couldn't buy anything. Somebody was gloating that he was giving once they come from the delivery room, when they are going home, they will be handed 500 naira. He brought in, so I won't give anybody free advert. One of these franchise, this Mr. Small or Tantalai, whatever. He took it to Abia State and he counted that as some of his achievements. Who does that? That you brought in one franchise where they eat, and you think that's one of the developments, this is how you measure your progress as a governor. No wonder he was, in fact, of the 8 governors rather, that tried to be senators, he performed worst, he fared worst. They never gave him a chance at all.
All right. Dr. Moses Adebayo. Thank you so very much. Anyway,
a pleasure.
But then, hold on. We get to open up the studio lines now. We want to get Nigeria. Let them talk. Their comments, their opinion, their views, their query also is accepted at this point in time. Yeah, we want to listen to it. But if they would do what? Keep it
civil.
Did you hear?
Mr. Civil is in action.
Did you hear that?
Mr. Civil.
Okay. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903.
And on WhatsApp is 0817 175 6338. Again, 0817 175 6338.
Okay. Now, keep all of the comments civil, and hey, 60 seconds for everyone. I really mean it. Okay? Let's get to the studio line. Now. Good afternoon to you this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jude Ikami Jude, Sister Munachi, and of course the elder scholar in the studio, Adebayo Moses, PhD.
Thank you.
Thank you all. My name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abanoje in Ikotu.
Welcome.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much, my friend Judy.
Yeah.
On Gumi, Sheikh Gumi, that reputation of Sheikh Gumi by the DSS via the federal government, I think to me it is commendable, but it is still not enough. As I said somewhere, I said there's a difference between what is your name and how did you get that your name. In answering that second question, how did you get your name, we reveal a lot from Gumi. In that, Gumi will be able to tell us whether he's working for a terrorism organization, whether it's a sponsor himself, whether what the trio, that is Femi Fani-Kayode, Dele Alake, and of course Agule Ngelare said concerning sponsors of terrorism, whether it is right or not. That is, they are saying that there are some people even outside the country that are sponsoring terrorism. Whether Gumi is also part of people that is maybe working for those people outside the country, not even within the country, that are sponsoring terrorism. Remember the 400 sponsors that we are giving to Buhari government by UAE, that is United Arab Emirates. That is that. Then on Nnamdi Kanu, I want to say here that it's a very sensitive matter. People should be very careful. Either you are pro Nnamdi or against Nnamdi Kanu, one has to be very careful. Now Nnamdi Kanu, became enemy of the government, that is Buhari's government, when he was talking of emancipation of Igbos, which is very right. Then he was talking about the marginalization of Igbos in Buhari's government, or even probably in the present government, if we may go by that. But these two things are very, very germane, but they are not enough, because he made a statement on undue propaganda during Buhari's regime. Remember when Buhari went to London, he was the one that said about his death that the Sudanese robot, if I may put it that way. We know what that one means. And it is in the minds of many people today, especially many of Igbos today, that even it is not the real Buhari that we have. That at last. Finally, sir, Jude, please permit me to talk on Fubara of River State. Fubara, to me, is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Remember, he's been using money, by the government, and that money has not been approved. Though my evidence caller in the studio may want to prove me wrong if he wants to analyze that, because the 4 members of legislature ad initio that approved this 800 billion naira that is sitting now are not legal as far as the law is concerned. It is 27 members that that we're having now that are these members that are very legal to approve this budget, and they have not presented this budget up to this time. Today is March 26, 2024. The budget has not been presented to the House. So he's sitting on a keg of gunpowder. This man can be removed at any point in time.
Thank you.
Let me stop for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your call. Appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Now let's take more calls now. 0700 903 903 903. Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Jude, good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
God bless you. This is Jose calling from Ago.
Welcome.
So whenever Mr. Tito Sifu is talking, let him. You must that man include Nnamdi Kanu. Was he having any problem with him, Nnamdi Kanu? We are doing so begging government all the time. The government should release this man, because all the things that this man said, all of them happened. Okay, did you know Buhari? When he go, okay, if Buhari go invite Tito Sifu now.
Hello?
Why the man is just saying what he doesn't know about? Every time, why did the man owe him?
It's all
We don't
right.
want that situation. We are making something to be easy for everybody. And he himself is watching the situation.
All right.
Okay, the enemy is now, they may be hearing this now and be saying that, okay, that's the duty. He is the man politics, the demand of government not to release that man.
Thank you.
Next time, whenever he's saying anything that,
It's okay.
that he's saying, you should not.
Thank you.
You should not
Thank you so very much.
Anything concerning Nnamdi Kanu. Let him go straight to the point and table his matter and get off. God.
It's okay. Thank you so very much for calling. Appreciate you.
You've got the finest and most colorful colors, honestly. I don't envy you at all.
All right. Good afternoon to you this afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Mr. Chinedu from Igboho.
Okay.
Yes, we will precisely. See, let me tell you a person that is analyzing Abia State. I'm from Abia State. By the grace of God, behind they operate the election of focusing person, then 2020, I was with OT somewhere. The truth is that it has never be the worst. The worst governor Abia State have ever produced was Charlie, his son, Ikuku. So Ojo Dokano in his own time, Ojo Dokano wanted to bury Abia State, but it was impossible. Remember that Abia is a home of generals. We have many generals. So Abia people, he made a good statement. Area would have been too productive more than like this. But due to our past governors, they were unable to look at that terrain. They wanted to let their pockets be full of. But now God has liberated Abia State, because Aleti has a listening ear. The only thing is this: other people need to come together. Let's take out that where I was going. That's how we need to understand. I'm above 50. But he or the personality will hold them responsible and not the Kanu.
It's all right.
He messed himself up. That is why we say this time around, he brought us, he woke us, we said no. We let us change hands. So Nigeria also needs to change hands. not at the old politicians.
It's all right.
We think they say old wine in the old jar. That is what is bringing us back. We should find the liberations anyway.
Thank you. Appreciate your call. Do you agree with what he said?
Well, you know, sometimes some people see it, the cup as half empty, some see it as half full. But when you still compare, even his predecessors, you know, with him, I think Igboho ranks really low, really low, really low.
Okay, it's all right. Good afternoon to you.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon. You can call back. Hello, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jude.
Good afternoon, John Legend.
This is John Legend calling. Where I want to chip in is that what he said, exactly what the man said that concerning Abia State. The most terrible person, the most terrible governor in Abia State was T.A. Orji. You can't compare T.A. Orji. All the whole Abia State governors, he is the worst among all. You understand?
Wait, okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
He is the worst among all. So, secondly, when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be released by now. But I know they want to use him for another campaign. That is the truth. If they like, they didn't take it. If they don't like, they didn't leave it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for calling. Appreciate your call.
No, for real, just to confirm, I had said it earlier, Nnamdi Kanu being incarcerated now is not really a headache for the federal government anymore. I think they've said what they have to say to. But will some of his kinsmen now, will they want him out, knowing that he may still keep grabbing the headlines ahead of them? That's just the case. You know, MNK commands a lot of followers, a large followership base. So some governors, some heavyweights in the southeast, they just feel that when this guy comes out now only in they talk about. And you know that the currency of any politician is they want to be talked about, whether for good or for ill. They want just to be in the news. That's why some of them will fabricate things that are not real, like entertainers, like politicians. And that is one thing that, especially entertainers, when the more they're in the news, the more they're being talked about, the more endorsement it may, get for them. So politicians who want to be on the lips of everybody.
Okay. If you want to reach us from, outside the country, all right, it's that same number Mona called recently. Mona, maybe you go through that number again.
0817-175-6338.
Again, please.
0817-175-6338.
Because I noticed a couple of persons are calling from outside Nigeria and they're not able to, I don't know, maybe it's network, I don't even know. But then just try that number, okay? Yes, see. Good afternoon to you. Hello, good afternoon. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call. Good afternoon. Hello. Oh, come on. Move away from your radio set or just turn down the volume. Okay? Yeah. And call back if you can. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
The Honorable. Good afternoon.
What you say? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you. Go ahead, please. Talk. I think you have to call back. Your line is, I don't know. Please do call back. Okay. Hello, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kanu.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bright. I'm calling from Italy.
Welcome, Bright.
Good afternoon to your guest and to my lovely sister.
Good afternoon.
All right, let's go.
Mr. Kanu, I want to first of all correct an expression that someone called and was saying that I don't like that statement that some people normally use in our space. When normally some people will call and tell you we should be very careful the way we speak. It's an oppressive statement. We live in a democratic state and we should be able to express ourselves freely if we want to express ourselves. I live in the diaspora. I enjoy the dividends of democracy where I reside today because the people who owns the land, they fought for themselves, they fought democratically, that enables us today, that we that live in the diaspora, to even habit with them and we coexist and we get the same right that these people get. So let me go to my submission now. The issue of the terrorists displaying their whatever on TikTok, I see it as a propaganda from the West and as a propaganda for a place like Nigeria, whereby the social media issue have been coming up that they should shut it down. If you look at the Nigerian space today, TikTok has been helping a lot of youth to grow themselves in some of them doing legal businesses and other creative stuff. So I don't see a reason why somebody who is not an official soldier for the government or for any institution displaying firearms or exhibiting some characters on TikTok and is not scared. And you and I know so good that most of these people who affiliate themselves as these bandits, they are not educated to be on such platforms. So I see it as a foreplay for people to use it tomorrow and say, okay, let us shut it down. Because you don't expect somebody who is learned, who is a thief, or has gone to rob, they will come to social media with the firearms and the things he has stolen and start putting it on social media. It is not, something is wrong somewhere. And that is for that. Then the issue of our government looking into the security issues in Nigeria is something that they have to do, and they have to do it as fast as possible. Because look at what happened recently in Russia. It didn't take those people.
Hello.
For massacre. So we should be truthful to ourselves. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, we should be truthful to ourselves because there is no way, whatever is going on in security-wise in Nigeria, that is just it's trending and trending and trending, and we are just rubbing issues, we are just rubbing hands on it, and nobody is saying anything. It's a very serious issue because now we are talking internally. What if somebody decides to invade us internationally? We cannot even cope with ourselves inside now. What if somebody is coming from outside? What do we do? That means we don't have the military strength to overcome all those kind of threats. It is not good. Something has to be done. Something has to be done, and has to be done very, very fast. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thanks so very much for your submission this afternoon. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah.
I greet you, Ekasan.
So my own contribution is about this TikTok stuff. I remember, was it not 4 years ago, was it 4 years or 3 years ago, when the president was insulted on Twitter, and Twitter was banned for about a year. I think was it 4 years ago, sir. This TikTok of a thing have been abused by now. That is being used to promote terrorism and rubbish now. I think the government should just suspend it for now. I mean, because the more they allow this to spread, the more they recruit people. Because there are some people who are out there, they will kind of, maybe they are not doing anything for now. That will give them that kind of interest. These people are launching money like this, and they are going scot-free without any harm. Let me also charge them up and join them. Maybe that is the kind of avenue they are using to recruit more people to their whatever. I think government should just suspend them for now in Nigeria. I think,
all right.
I believe that's my own.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so very much. All right, everyone, information reaching me right now says that the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria today concluded its two-day meeting for March 2024. Well, the meeting marks the second MPC meeting for 2024 and also the 29th or 294th meeting of the CBN. Now, this is what will interest you. Hey. The CBN has increased interest rate to 24.75. 24.
I know the implications.
75%.
You know the implications. I tell people that
24 interest rate.
When
24.
I mean, it sounds almost out of the roof, beyond the roof for you. My tip has always been that we will always clamor for increase in wages and salaries. But when you do that, do you consider factors like this as well? Interest rate, inflation rate? Because it's a case of I give you some goodies, I take it with your right hand, and almost immediately I collect it with my from the left hand. So when factors like this are on, we should also think that even if they raise the salary for any government worker to about 100,000 naira, even $1 million naira, these are just the conduit pipe that will take everything away.
Breaking news 24. I mean, the CBN has increased interest rate to 24.75%.
And don't try to approach a bank right now for any form of loan.
Okay, then another information here is that Nigeria's manufacturers and businesses struggling due to the lingering energy crisis may have more to worry about, as oil price yesterday soared to 87.16%. Yeah. Sorry, what did I say? Okay, sorry, 87. What's that? $16, to a barrel. What I'm trying to say is that, people might, the price of petrol might increase again. Maybe we should just get ready for any other, Nigerians are always ready though. Nigerians are always ready. And then Femi Adesina, who happens to be the spokesman of the former president Muhammadu Buhari, has urged Nigerians to support the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying things will get better with time. That's what he's saying. Things will get better in time.
We want more than sound bites.
He assured Nigerians that Tinubu's administration will get it right, adding that they should do anything to ensure the country works.
Yes, but we want more than sound bites. You can't push. There's so much.
But to you, it's sound bite. It's sound bite.
We
right?
want more than sound bites. Don't just tell us. We want more than. Okay, with the just the breaking news now, 24 points interest rate. I hope they will understand that all of these things, the measures they are putting in, palliative fees, whatever, this can as well still make them ineffective. Many things come together. No issue of national concern stays isolated. If one is ailing, it's like you thought your finger has whitlow. You know how you feel now. It may just be a mere finger, but it could affect you not sleeping well. It could give you all manner of headache and what have you. So if we consider the fact that we think the economy is okay, the news that dollars is now going down, naira is appreciating. But with this, I hope it's not a case of we still find ourselves going around in circles and not making any movement.
Okay. I will take more calls now. Then, let's get to a comment session. Let's get to check out some beautiful comments on YouTube and, of course, WhatsApp. Then we'll take more calls and then wrap things up. Just relax, okay? Muna, let's go.
All right, on WhatsApp, this person says, Mr. Moses, if I talk like you for 15 minutes non-stop, I might lose my voice. Your throats know they pay you. Gumi's colleague is in custody and charged with sponsoring terrorism. And you, Mr. Jude, telling Mr. Moses to use allegedly. When will you repent?
Tomorrow.
Mr. Moses, you talked about not giving attention to Gumi, but a better part of the show was spent talking about him. Well, as for me, any power anyone thinks that Gumi has is just an imaginary dream. Gumi can't and is not bigger in any way than the authorities. If they are also true in their dealings, it wouldn't take them anything to pick him up and clip his tiny wings and that of his imaginary supporters who try to protest for him. Gumi is just a rubber duck. Now this person says, Andy Madu from Ikorodu says, good afternoon, Jude. The Igbos have chosen to keep building and developing other people's regions after what has happened to them. After what is happening to them, they keep building and owning properties worth millions that they can't take back to their hometown. I really feel sorry for them. I just sit down, they look, Igbos, grow up. This person says, good afternoon, all. I disagree with Mr. Osifo about Fubara sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Has he forgotten that those 27 legislators that deflected to APC are illegally occupying the seats? I wouldn't know why Fubara doesn't want to take charge as a governor. He should be a governor in acts and deeds. This is Gabriel from Ikotsun. And this person says, Ikami Jude, let everyone contribute to the topic on ground. Don't allow anyone intimidate you on this platform. It is called Voice of the People for a reason. But also make sure you moderate without allowing anyone bully your callers because they don't agree with his opinions. Olu from Badagry. Yes, that is that's what we have here for now.
Okay. Let's take more calls now, and check your time is 2:46 already. Okay, we'll take more calls now and then we'll wrap things up in less than 10 minutes.
2:46 in Nigeria, but not necessarily in San Francisco. So that man that calls from the US may not agree with you.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon to you. Hello.
Yeah, this is Akin from.
Hello. Akin, I think I need to, you need to call back. Yeah, please do call back. 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Then the WhatsApp is still 081 717 56338 081 717 56338. Okay, I'll just take maybe 2 or 3 more calls, and I'll just wrap things up. 2 or 3 more calls, and we're good to go. Now, before that, song we're talking about the taxi driver, right?
Bobby Benson.
Bobby Benson.
Yeah.
Bobby Benson.
He sang it first,
Bobby
but it was
Benson.
covered by as many.
Many.
And one of the hits of the covers.
And the song was released in 1952.
52. Yeah.
52.
Yeah. But one of the major covers was that of Mandy.
Mandy, yeah. Mandy did that. Your auntie. Hello, good afternoon to you. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
How are you? Good afternoon for the guest of the house.
Yes. Go on, please. Let's talk.
My name is.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, just go on. We can hear you.
Hello. Okay. I've been to the house. I've been to the guest of the house.
All right.
I thought, even though the matter we discussed about of the security in Nigeria, concerning Mr. Gumi, if we're looking into today, working hard with the government, believe me, Gumi, that they cannot do anything to Gumi. Because the government is a serious thing. They're not supposed to call Gumi to question him. Gumi is supposed to be arrested and detain him. Gumi now, tell me how many souls Gumi don't wasted. Do you know how many souls that young man to buy the arms and giving the people to terrorize the Nigeria people, and he said that the Nigerians called themselves and invited him. So, Judy, these people are joking. This is very joking. But let me see. That case, you see a tribute on carpet. Arrest my case. Thank you.
Thank you for resting your case. Thank you. We'll take 2 more. Just 2 more. I want to take just 2 more calls, and I say over. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Judy.
Good afternoon to you too.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you.
Judy.
Go ahead, please. We can hear you.
All right. Welcome to your guest in the studio.
Greetings.
Judy. If Nigerian government can go all the way to Kenya and arrest Nnamdi Kanu, why can't they arrest Sheikh Gumi that is in Nigeria here? You see, there are politics that this government, led by APC, are playing with us. But some of us, we don't know about. If you have all the intelligence that you need to go all the way to Kenya and apprehend them and the Kano and bring him back to Nigeria here under arrest, not by invitation. Sheikh Gumi that is making noise. He even came out and said openly that
I do go into the forest. That the defense sector cannot deny that they don't know where these terrorists are. That he do go there with some of the government officials and some of the military men. So why this invitation, painting stories? But Gumi is like gorilla or whatever. I guess this is there to describe him, but don't rush. If he wants to Nnamdi Kanu, why can't you watch this Sheikh Gumi? These people, see, I am annoyed, but I don't want this consulting work now.
Keep it civil.
It seems that some parts of the country are more favorable than others. You are here when the president of Nigeria, by Muhammad Buhari, said that the Israelites are like a box in a circle. The answer happened to him. But let an Igbo man make such a statement now. During the election, and so long are walking around, if you know that you will vote for my party, don't come out to. We heard all these things, and the acting said it was only joking. Then the SND, the Council of Organization in Igboho is under detention till tomorrow. Because he said that if the police cannot protect my people, I will invite IPOB to protect my people in Lagos here. The man was carried. He was picked. Why didn't Nigerian government or Lagos government see his own comment as a joke as well? For what reason now? Why is all this happening? It's like the Igbo doesn't belong to this place at all.
It's all right.
We don't belong here.
Thank you.
We don't belong here because see the way they are treating us. They can't have to be apprehended from Kenya.
Hello? Oh, sorry. Let's leave it there, okay? Well, let me just, let's wrap things up right now. Mustafa Rabiu Kwankwaso, son of the former governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, and 3 others, made the list of fresh commissioner nominees list sent to Kano State House of Assembly by the state governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf.
Abba is a protege of Kwakwanso now, so don't expect anything less.
Okay. And then finally here, table water producers are telling the federal government to save the industry from collapse. Wrap up with that for us.
It's a two-way street. As much as the federal government may be called upon to look into virtually all things as if they're omniscient, sometimes they should consider talking to the local government they operate, in. I can't imagine. Anyway, when some people give their opinion that we should restructure in certain aspects, I think so. A water resource minister should not necessarily be an overtly big office. There should be commissioners in different states, local government wings as well. So when these table water manufacturers or producers now call on government, I hope they are not thinking of just the federal government. Your state governors are there. Your local government, elected ones are there. So they look upon those ones. And they also should consider Nigerians. The country is about the government and the governed. Sometimes because we just lack this price control, people are arbitrary. Let me just say this in passing. I had a story and I confirmed it. Someone bought items for 120,000 naira. He had collected receipt to confirm that business had been transacted. Only for him to want to send some of his boys and go and pick it up. The person that he bought it from, the seller now called him that something has happened. It has now increased to 135,000 naira. Say, who does that? I've collected. You've issued out the receipt that I bought it for 120,000 naira. Now for me to send some of my boys to come and pick it up. That time that it's now 135,000 naira. And the seller on the other hand said, if you can't pay additional 15,000, come and pick your come and take your money. We are ready to refund your money. He now told them that the days the money I spent with you has grown, so you are not going to pay me 110,000 naira in return. It must have grown in interest as well. It costs a kind of ruckus. But what I'm just saying is that when we have a kind of laissez-faire society where there is no control, nothing, anybody will do what he wants. I heard that the point is such a pure water I was selling for 15 naira. I would rather just go and take my boil water, boil the water and drink. How would I buy a sachet of pure water for 15 naira? So there should be price control. Otherwise, we'll just have a case of anybody does whatever he wants. And we can't afford to. This is a banana republic. This is a country governed by laws.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo Moses, for...
Dr. Adebayo, please.
Sorry, pardon. Dr. Adebayo Moses.
Thank you.
For that insights today. We're about to wrap up the show for the business report at 3 with Ijeoma Innocent. My name is Munachuku Ojubana, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at _MU.NA and VOP social media as VOP903. And I have here signing off with me,
Jude. Ikami Jude. How many years did it take to have to secure what's that again?
A doctorate.
A doctorate.
It takes
6
on the average 5 years. But at the point I suspended mine. Yeah, it's actually in theology, faith and reasoning. Oh, no, I should be a reverend now, but I deflected that. And then I want to remain a laity. So after my masters, I went for that. So it took me about 6.5 years because at the point I suspended it. But later I went for it. And
now I see the reason why you want to be addressed.
Pardon me again, Dr. Ade.
No, the only thing I will not pardon you for if you go and marry a taxi driver.
My name is Jude Ikami Jude. I'll be here tomorrow for the midweek edition of Matters. I love you so very much. Thank you, and thank you again. Until tomorrow, good afternoon.
Dear valued listener,